The honor system in Muslim-majority societies is really the basis of a lot of harm that is perpetuated against women.
A powerful new film on women's rights and Islam coming under intense fire. Tonight, we'll show you who would like to silence both the filmmakers and the Kelly File. 52 Americans were held for 444 days. Now, one of the Iranian hostage takers just got a big job at the United Nations. So what will the White House do?
How about you?
Our cable exclusive. Governor Chris Christie tonight talks 2016, his plans, his possible rivals, and the moment he might like to forget.
What do you say?
On the Kelly File, right now.
First on the Kelly File, growing controversy tonight over a film exposing the shocking violence against Islamic women, attempts to silence that film, and now attempts to silence us from telling you about it. Welcome to the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. This film is called The Honor Diaries, largely produced by and starring a diverse group of women with different faiths, backgrounds, and nationalities. All of them focused on promoting women's rights, especially in countries where women and girls are often subjected to something known as, quote, honor violence. Here's some of the trailer.
My sister was telling me how unhappy she was in her marriage, and I said to her, come to me. She said, I can't, because I have to think about honor. She didn't want to dishonor the family by leaving her husband. In the end, she set herself on fire. Rubina did, and she died.
Concept of honor, it's very difficult to explain it to Western societies.
Honor is something that is carried and contained in women and is there to be guarded by men.
ومن هو وليها؟ أولاً يأتي الأب، ثم الزوج، ثم الابن.
Anything from wearing short sleeves, refusing to wear a headscarf, being seen talking to a man.
Those things can be deemed dishonorable.
Thousands of women have been detained for dressing un-Islamically. Like this woman screaming as she's pushed into a police car.
The honor system in Muslim-majority societies is really the basis of a lot of harm that is perpetuated against women.
It's systematic, institutionalized misogyny.
I was crying and begging him to stop. Then he put his hand on my mouth like this. I couldn't breathe. I was crying, but he used me anyway.
The issue of forced marriages, child marriage, and honor abuse is a worldwide problem.
When you do dissent with what is portrayed as mainstream belief, you are ostracized. There are threats of murder, there are threats of rape, physical mutilation.
That film's rollout began on March 8th on International Women's Day. In recent days, a growing number of critics have attacked the film. And now the Council for American Islamic Relations, or CARE, has joined in an effort to shut down screenings on college campuses. First, the University of Michigan Dearborn postponed its screening. Others have since followed suit. The film's critics celebrating those victories on their social media sites. We reached out to CARE to get its perspective. This is the same group, you may recall, that pushed to have Juan Williams punished by NPR after his comments about Muslims. He was later fired. CARE pointed us to a blogger who, instead of coming on to defend his criticism of the film, decided to write a hit piece lamenting that, quote, Jews produced this film, and suggesting Fox News was intent on, quote, ginning up controversy over the movie. Clearly, CARE's chosen spokesperson wanted Fox News to back off of its coverage. When we followed up with CARE, it simply sent us this quote. American Muslims join people of conscience of faith in condemning female genital mutilation, forced marriages, honor killings, and any other form of domestic violence or gender inequality as violations of Islamic beliefs. If anyone mistreats women, they should not seek refuge in Islam. The real concern in this case is that the producers of the film, who have a track record of promoting anti-Muslim bigotry, are hijacking a legitimate issue to push their hate-filled agenda. So why is CARE and its supporters so afraid of this film, and why are they trying to shut down free speech? Brooke Goldstein is a human rights attorney who first brought this issue to our attention, and Dr. Kanta Ahmed, author of In the Land of Indivisible Women, was also featured in this film, and they are with me tonight. Thank you both so much for being here. This is an extremely serious issue, and you would think that the Muslim community would want this faction of violence against Muslim women highlighted, but Brooke, they do not.
I think the Muslim community does want this highlighted, but you have CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, which is an organization that is connected to terror groups. It was set up as a PR arm for Hamas, for the Muslim Brotherhood here within the United States, is attempting to stifle open dialogue about violence against Muslim women. And the question is why? Why are they doing this?
Well, Doctor, let me ask you, because you've experienced some of this firsthand. And what groups like CARE and those who support them say is this is Islamophobic, and that this is an attempt to portray the Muslim community at large as anti-women and violent against women, when in fact it's just a faction.
I think your observations are valid, but I think their motives are questionable. They claim to be defending the vulnerable, whereas they're actually silencing exposure about the vulnerable. And I think they do that for a very deliberate reason. They do that because there is political capital in portraying the American Muslim as a victimized sector of society, whereas nothing can be further from the truth. Muslims in this country are more socially mobile and economically powerful than probably anywhere else globally, and particularly in the Muslim-majority world.
What do you make of the movie, though? Their criticisms of the movie are the vast majority of Muslims don't condone this type of behavior, don't engage in this type of behavior, and would be as appalled about this movie as the rest of us are.
That may be too simplistic. It's certainly true that many of us that are participating, myself included, are Muslim and observing in Muslim beliefs. But most of the violence that is conducted against women occurs 9 out of 10 times most commonly in Muslim-majority countries. And we have countries that legislate positions on women that encourage and incite this kind of violence. So saying that the Muslim world does not have a role in honor violence is false and dishonest, but the motive is very clearly not to advance human rights on women or children, but to advance their own political position.
You know, Brooke, the producers behind this film, with whom CARE takes issue, came out and said, we want to do this film because not only do we want to call attention to this, but we're sick of the political correctness that stops attention from being called to issues like this. A few years ago, I did a documentary here at Fox News called Honor Killings, and the blowback was considerable. The people who don't like a spotlight shined on these issues are very, very aggressive and vocal.
Right, and this is CARE's MO. What they do is they sue anyone, they intimidate anyone, they call anyone Islamophobic who is brave enough to raise awareness about things like so-called honor violence, female genital mutilation, Muslim children, female children that are being married to elder men. These are real human rights violations. And CARE has gone out on this defamation campaign calling anyone who talks about this anti-Islam. Now, I'd like to ask, if it's anti-Muslim to raise awareness about the human rights violations occurring against Muslim women in the UK, in Canada, in the United States, and also in Pakistan and the Muslim world, what then is pro-Muslim?
And the stats, just so, and I'll give you the floor in 1 second, just the stats so our viewers know, 125 million women and girls have suffered female genital mutilation in Africa and the Middle East since '89. In half of those countries, the majority of girls that happened before age 5. Over 60 million girls worldwide are child brides married before 18. The UN puts the annual worldwide number of honor killing at about 5,000 women. It's incredible. I mean, that oxymoron. Go ahead, Doctor.
That last number is a gross underestimate. Many of the killings are undocumented and not reported, so that's actually the tip of the iceberg, and I think a 2002 figure. But just to add to what Brooke said, it's only a manufactured controversy here in the United States with what I can describe as political extremist front groups. I think that's how I would classify an organization like CARE, because as recently as in Saturday, Dr. Maha Al-Manif in Saudi Arabia was honored for her work in human rights, fighting violence against children and women in her own country. And in Pakistan, we have human rights lawyers like Asma Jahangir, also Muslim women, doing exactly
Well, I mean,
this
if CARE
work.
is so concerned about this, as they suggest in their statement, why aren't they leading? Why aren't they at the sharp point of the spear, trying to shut this down and call attention to it? I want to ask you, Brooke, because we asked Brooke to come on. She comes on the program frequently and did on my afternoon show as well. And you reached out to a contact asking her, does she want to come on and debate this with you online? This woman, Linda Sarsour, right?
Exactly.
And this woman has not only declined to come on, her bio is featured on whitehouse.gov. I mean, this is a person who's got a high profile. She tweeted out as recently as March 28th in objection to this film, how many times do we have to tell white women that we do not need to be saved by them. Is there code language I need to use to get through?
Extraordinary,
right?
It's unbelievable because what CARE has done and what groups like CARE has done by calling out women who are brave enough to appear in this film as anti-Muslim, they have unleashed a vicious attack against those women who are in the film. And there are women who are too intimidated to come and talk about these issues because people like Linda Sarsour are attacking them online.
Endangering them.
And the irony is that's exactly what this film is about. So their motives are very clear. They're trying to cover up for these crimes. They're trying to stifle free and open public dialogue about these very real issues that are happening in our society.
And you hear this word again. She tweeted out about how domestic violence is the issue, and she's tired of those who conflate domestic violence and Islam. We've heard this over and over and over. It is not domestic. This is not an issue of domestic violence.
That's correct. There's
an
absolute culture of honor violence. It's not exclusive to Islam, but it's very prevalent in Muslim-majority countries. And the most Islamic act as an observing Muslim is to expose this injustice, which is what this movie does. So CARE should be hosting screenings rather than shutting them down.
Thank you both so much. We appreciate you being here. We're not done digging on this story. We'd like to know what you think. You can follow us. You can follow me on Twitter at Megyn Kelly, and also go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/The Kelly File, and we will have much more on this in the days and weeks ahead.